Welcome to the ANEW Insight Podcast, empowering and inspiring your journey to optimal health. Hosted by Dr. Supatra Tovar, clinical psychologist, registered dietitian, fitness expert, and author of Deprogrammed Diet Culture. Rethink your relationship with food, heal your mind, and live a diet-free life. And Chantal Donnelly, physical therapist and author of Settled, How to Find Calm in a Stress-Inducing World. Here at City Club Los Angeles, we follow our guests' journey to optimal health, providing you with the keys to unlock your own wellness path. Tune in and evolve with us. Hello and welcome to the ANEW Insight Podcast. I am Dr. Supatra Tovar, and I am thrilled to have Vernon Webb and Sean Arnold from Mind Mastery Accelerator with us today. Hey. Welcome. I'm going to read a little bit about Vernon and Sean, and then I'm going to get right into my questions because I have so many interesting questions for them. Vernon Webb is a distinguished graduate of California State University, Northridge, with a BS in Business Administration and a master's certification from the Institute of Psycho-Orientology. Trained by Jose Silva, the founder of the Silva Mind Control Method, Vernon has earned national recognition as a mind development trainer. His deep understanding of the subconscious mind's power has driven his passion for personal growth, which he now shares through Mind Mastery Accelerator, a venture he co-founded with Sean Arnold to help individuals unlock their full potential by eliminating limiting beliefs. Sean Arnold, a seasoned attorney with over 30 years of experience in business law, has spent 40 years as a business consultant, helping countless clients navigate legal and operational challenges. Her belief that business success hinges on mindset rather than just skill led her to co-found Mind Mastery Accelerator alongside Vernon Webb. Together, they provide a transformative journey of self-discovery, guiding participants to break through limiting beliefs using powerful neurostrategic tools. Welcome, Vernon. Welcome, Sean.
Thank you so much.
We're so excited to have you here today, and I am really excited to pick both of your brains on what is behind Mind Mastery Accelerator. Okay. So I'm going to start with Vernon. Could you share your experience training with Jose Silva? And for people who don't know, this is a pretty old technique from 70s? 60s that is actually kind of gaining a little bit of traction today with companies like Mind Valley, if you're not familiar with Jose Silva. But can you tell us about training with him and how that laid the foundation for your work in mind development through Mind Mastery Accelerator?
When I get to talk about Jose Silva and the Silva Method, it's exciting because it is probably one of the largest mind development organizations in the world. Mm-hmm. It's got programs in over 100 different foreign countries, mm-hmm. and it's been taught in more than 30 different foreign languages. So something is going on there. I found out about Silva Mind Control looking through a Gentleman's Quarterly magazine entitled Looking for the Silva Lining. And I'd always had an interest in the mind and hypnosis, and so I began to realize that this was something that was really catching up with me. What it is that Jose does is he was ahead of his time, and he realized in working with his kids that the mind and how you see education is absolutely critical to your success in life. Mm-hmm. So he was very big on education. And so he started working with his kids. He started with biofeedback. He looked at hypnosis, and they weren't giving him exactly what it was that he was looking for. And then one day while he was working with his daughter Isabel, he was formulating the usual questions for her to take to school. And as he formulated the question, who was the 16th president, just formulating in his mind, and she said, Abraham Lincoln. He said, but I didn't ask you. He said, well, isn't that the answer? Well, yeah, but how did you know? That was the turning point. Because in essence, what she had done is that she had read his mind. And from there, he just started moving it forward, teaching the rest of the kids in the family, teaching the neighborhood kids about how to use your mind to get better grades. And from there, the parents of the children said, look, our kids are smarter and everything. What are you doing? And so he began to lay it out to them and show them. And the next thing you know, he had created the method, the Silva Mind Control Method. What I've learned with working with Jose, and I was honored to be, taught by the master.
Yes.
And he is very unassuming, very quiet spoken, speaks with a very thick Mexican accent. But he just, people say, Jose, you've changed me. He goes, no, you did. And he talks about how people have used their minds. So I took that along with about 20 years with the Silva organization. And it was just something that was so fascinating to me that I decided that I just wanted to read and absorb as much as I could.
Right.
And
Now, can you give us, for people who don't know what it is, because it seems kind of mystical and strange if you don't really understand what it is, if you could give it like in a little nutshell. I know that's really hard because there's so much to it. I've actually done my homework on it and read a few of the books, including Jose Silva's book, his original book. But if you could encapsulate it in a nutshell, what exactly is the Silva Mind Control Method?
very simply, it's conscious control of the subconscious mind. Because I think that right about now, most people are aware that the bulk of our mental capabilities lie in the subconscious mind. But if you don't know how to access the subconscious mind to make changes in your life, then it's like having money somewhere that's yours and you don't know where it is. You know, it's in a bank somewhere in the world, but what bank? There's millions of them. Can't help it. So it's about learning how to create time for yourself, how to close your eyes and go within, and to begin to establish that line of communication between the conscious and subconscious mind. What do you want? Most people don't know what they want. They're pretty sure they haven't got it, but they don't know what they want.
Right.
So now they start thinking, well, I want, and they start seriously thinking about mentally, physically, and emotionally the changes they'd like to make in their lives. And that really is where that conscious control of the subconscious mind begins to come in with reprogramming the mind, because oftentimes the mind has been compared to a computer.
Right.
Of course, on the one hand, it's garbage in, garbage out. Well, try and minimize the garbage going in so that we can minimize the garbage coming out.
Right.
But it is about what you think and believe. You're a product of your belief system. That is to say, whatever it is that you believe to be true is because you believe it. Doesn't mean that it is true, just means you believe it to be true.
Yes.
And that's all it takes.
Yes. And we were talking earlier before we started shooting, and that it's not that different from cognitive behavioral therapy, in that once you kind of understand what your automatic thoughts are, that's coming from CBT, you realize that you kind of have a running tape that's going all the time in the background. And that's really your subconscious, because you've thought usually a limiting thought or a negative thought for so long that it just becomes this running tape in the background. And it actually dictates a lot of your actions, a lot of what you do. It certainly dictates your feelings, because CBT is about how your thoughts affect your feelings, affect your behaviors. And so when you're thinking this, negative thought about yourself, you're going to feel terrible, and usually you don't have motivation, or you don't, you don't really realize your dreams in life. But if you gain control of your automatic thinking and learn how to change it systematically, and that's what the Silva Method does. It's also what CBT does, and we'll talk about NLP as well. You can create amazing change in your life. And so really it's about the power of the mind. And really understanding that you have so much more control over your mind than you thought before, correct?
That is true. But if you don't know how to access it, what good does it do you?
Exactly.
So it's about learning how to access that part of your mind. But that is something, I know there's a difference between, certainly Silva and NLP and CBT, but every morning, create some time for yourself.
Yes.
Jose used to say 5 minutes is good. Well, I've kind of upped that. You need 10 minutes. And he said, well, once a day is good, twice a day is good, 3 times a day is excellent. Let's start with twice a day. And if you're really anxious and want to make some significant changes quickly, do it 3 times. Best time is in the morning. Second best time, strange as it may seem, is in the evening. And the third best time is somewhere in the afternoon.
Yep.
But just relaxing the body, relaxing the mind, and just focusing on how to create the kind of mental pictures that the subconscious mind really loves to feed on, because that's really what it's about.
Yes.
The mental pictures.
I love it. So we're going to pivot to Sean, because you use Silva Method for Mind Mastery Accelerator, but there's also a component of NLP or Neuro-Linguistic Programming in that as well.
Yes.
So then we're going to figure out how you two have kind of mind melded yourselves together here. Sean, you have decades experience in law, really amazing background in law, but you also have a background in Neuro-Linguistic Programming or NLP. Please inform our audience, what the heck is that? Because I think a lot of people don't know what that is. And how does that apply to the program you're creating?
Neuro-linguistic programming, very shortly, is the study of human excellence. It is the study of why we do the things that we do, and what is the conversation that is going on in our heads. What's the difference between the person who is sweeping a street for a living and a Michael Jordan? What's the conversation that's going on in Michael Jordan's head that caused him to make the choices that he made, that caused him to have the life that he had? And that's really what it's about. It's about our choices, because our choices create our lives. Our thoughts create our beliefs. Our beliefs create our behavior, and our behavior creates our results. So NLP, in studying how we think and in studying how we speak to ourselves and to other people, finding our place in the world, and then studying the programs that we have running inside, most of which we are unaware of. We don't know what that story is. We just know the effect of it. The inability to start the business that you want to start. The inability to pick up the phone and prospect. You may sit up at 11 o'clock at night and make some wonderful plans on what you're going to do in the morning. And then you wake up in the morning and grab your phone and start scrolling through your social media and designing your new business card and pushing your piles around on your desk and not making money. So neuro-linguistic programming takes a look at all of that, and it has 26 different neurostrategic techniques to bring to bear to actually update the software of our mind. We can literally change how we think about things. We can change our relationship to money. We can change our relationship with our boss. We can change our life by changing how we think about our life. And that is the beauty of NLP.
So give me an overview of what someone might experience if they went to somebody who, teaches NLP.
Well, there are a couple of different ways that I have seen NLP offered to people. Some are in actually learning the processes and learning it as a practitioner. And in learning it as a practitioner, you get those processes done on you, and you just sort of, you figure things out as you go along. I have seen NLP done on a practitioner level, and that's generally where I see it. It is a practitioner who is working with a client who is experiencing fear, who has limiting beliefs that keep them stuck and unable to build the life that they want. A client that is stuck in past trauma and they're unable to resolve it. NLP is used with PTSD for returning veterans. It is used to help people hear each other in a marriage and understand one another's love languages and understand when the husband says, "But I buy you everything. How do you not know I love you?" And she says, "But you never touch me."
Or you never say it.
Or you never tell me you love me. What they're saying is they're communicating love in different ways.
Totally.
And so NLP is a way to learn our own motivations, because that's really where the change needs to happen within us. But when you have two people that are willing to join forces to fix what's wrong, NLP is a very, very powerful science to help them with that.
Okay, so we're going to get into how those are used in your program. And I'm going to start with you. If the Silva Mind Control Method is a big part of your foundation, how does Mind Mastery Accelerator build on these principles to help participants break free from their limiting beliefs?
The Silva Method is a powerful way to access the subconscious mind. And I like to say, and I know Sean has corrected me on a couple of times, there's more than one way to skin a cat. She says, "You're going to offend cat lovers."
We don't want the cat skinned.
But there's more than one way to access the subconscious mind. And that in itself fascinates me, because I enjoy the fact that, first of all, I can access the subconscious mind by closing my eyes and focusing on my breathing. When you start looking at what it is that geniuses use to become geniuses, Da Vinci was about focusing on a spot to the exclusion of everything else. Einstein was about imagination. Thomas Edison was about relaxing your mind and body. But what it is that Jose came up with, being able to access that powerful subconscious mind, no one has been able to do anything different. Now we're talking about research, and research has shown us the importance of making sure that when you're reprogramming the subconscious mind, that there are pictures, because the subconscious mind doesn't understand words.
Right.
And if people say, "Well, I'm gonna," there's a certain way that you have to communicate with the subconscious mind. And "I'm gonna" is not going to do it. As strange as it may seem, you have to tell the subconscious mind, "I have what it is that I want."
Right.
And some people might say, "But I don't have it." It doesn't matter. I have what it is that I want. It is affirming that I have what it is that I want. The other way that we're talking about what's going on between the Silva Method and NLP is neuroplasticity. Because what you're in essence doing is reprogramming the subconscious
neural
mind.
Pathways in your brain.
Reprogramming those pathways. When you hear something negative, Jose says, say cancel, cancel, which means you don't want your subconscious mind to accept that. So now what do you want your subconscious mind to accept? Well, I've got a new program. I want to do this. And when you do it over and over again, that becomes the new way of thinking.
Yes.
And the old way just kind of dissipates.
It's extinguished if you were looking at it behaviorally, because you are no longer reinforcing those old thoughts or beliefs. You are actually reprogramming yourself for new thoughts.
So when that comes up, this is the way you go now. What about the old? And your mind just, no, I only know this new way over here.
Yes.
And that's all it is. And that's what you count on.
Yes. And it's not that different from how, elite athletes go through whatever they have to do in terms of their sport. They'll go through it and they'll visualize it over and over again. The perfect completion of whatever it is that they're doing. And that's, essentially what you're doing on this subconscious level by imagining already having what you want. It's the same thing as visualizing, performing this sport perfectly.
Spaced repetition.
Prisoners of war in Vietnam, to pass the time, would play 18 holes of golf. And they found that when they came home, their golf game was exponentially better because their mind did not realize that they weren't actually playing golf. That is the power of your unconscious mind. Notice I said unconscious. That is probably the only real difference between Silva mind control and NLP, is NLP says your unconscious mind is not sub to anything. It is so powerful. It beats your heart for you. It breathes for you in the middle of the night. It's where your memories are stored. It is so powerful that we call it the unconscious mind in NLP. So
well, what's the difference?
There is no difference.
Not really.
Because I've heard some people say that there are those layers: the conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. Subconscious, I think, from what I've heard, is that it is an area you can access if you bring awareness to it, and unconscious is where you don't necessarily have the awareness. It's
so that would be like your autonomic nervous system and what have you.
But it's all linguistics, right? You're accessing pretty much the same areas. It just is defined differently. Okay, so we want to know about Mind Mastery Accelerator. What is this all about? I want to know about the 4 levels: the initiate, the apprentice, journeyman, and mind master. And how does this support personal and professional transformation? Toss up. Who wants to go?
Well, this week we are starting with the initiate program. People are going to learn the concept that really excited me when I first came to learn about NLP. How our brain actually works, how we receive information, how we develop the picture in our mind that Vernon was speaking about earlier. That fascinated me because I speak in words, and I thought that I think in pictures. But when I studied NLP, I came to learn no. When your 5 senses bring that data in to your lockbox, which is your brain, there's no light in there. There's no sound in there. It sends its emissaries out to bring that information in. It creates a picture. And then you go about filtering that picture with your language, your age, your gender, your culture, a number of meta programs, your physical state, your values, your beliefs, your attitudes. There are just a number of ways that you filter that information, in addition to the fact that so much information came at you at one time that you will parse it down and not consciously process absolutely everything that's coming at you because you just can't and maintain your sanity. And so when all of that happens, you act. And most of us think we have free will. Most of us think that we are responding to whatever is going on out there in the world, but we're not. Because most of those programs that we're using to filter that information, to filter that picture, we're not even aware of what that is. For example, someone is a saver. Someone is a hoarder. Someone is a spender. 3 different people. They will each say to you when they get $1, the spender, oh, that $1's gone before they ever get it. The saver, they will invest that money in their business. The hoarder, they still have the first dollar they ever made. And they will each tell you, well, I'm just that way. I don't know why I'm that way. I'm just that way. But there's a reason why you're that way. And NLP will help you understand why you do the things that you do. What is that conversation that's going on that's mixing with that event from the outside that creates that behavior which may or may not be serving you in your life?
Right. So, what can a person expect when they come into this program on Wednesday? What will you walk them through?
First of all, we'll begin with a centering exercise because we want everyone to be able to listen to what's being shared with clarity. And we are so certain that people have a tendency to start, monkey mind, just a term that Sean uses because it's everywhere, and that's the way everyone's mind is. Now we're talking about learning to train your mind to do something differently. Learn how to focus. Da Vinci. Focus on one thing over and over again. What we also want to be able to show people how to do is to relax their mind and body. Because you can't use stress as a way to get from where you are to where you want to go. You can't use willpower as a way to get from where you are to where you want to go. So it's about learning how to relax your mind, becoming more focused, and learning how to relax your body, because that's what Edison did when he came up with some of his best ideas.
Yes.
The other is that we're going to show them how to use their imagination. Most people use visualization and imagination interchangeably, when in reality, they're totally different. So if I ask you what are the color of the walls in your bedroom, you would tell me
Cream.
Cream, all right? Now, how did you know that they were cream? Well, because I just know. Well, no, what you did is you mentally went home. In that split second, you mentally went home, you looked at the walls, and then you came back and said, cream, like you knew what you're talking about.
Right.
Cream. But that's the way we function.
Yes.
That's visualization. That is the ability to recall something that you've seen before. Were I to ask you to imagine on the back wall, there was a red dot about the size of a basketball, could you do it?
Yes.
And of course you would tell me yes. Now, is there a red dot on that back wall? No. So how did that happen? You created that image of a red dot. And our mental pictures are a combination, notice I said mental pictures, a combination of visualization and imagination.
Yes.
They come under the category and heading of mental pictures. So what we're going to be showing people how to do are the basics of mental projection. How do you begin to project your mind elsewhere? We'll start with something close, at least in your mind, and then we're going to start with something more complex. So we'll start with easy things like numbers and what you want to see yourself being able to do. Then we'll talk about projecting into inanimate objects.
Yes.
Animate objects. The ability to mentally project inside of a piece of metal, for example, that is a more advanced technique in which we're going to be covering in Mind Mastery Accelerator.
And all of this designed to help people achieve their goals.
Absolutely. On a practical level, this week, what they will learn as an initiate, they will see their wheel of life, and they will see which areas of their life where they are supporting their journey.
Right.
Their thought processes are successfully supporting their journey. But for most people, there's an area of our lives where we're not doing as well as we could.
Okay. Well,
We
we're going to
could
get
use-
back into that.
Yes.
We're out of time for this half, and I'm super fascinated with this, and I want to get into all of the different steps, and we're going to do that in the next half. Okay? So, thank you all for joining us. Tune in for the second half of this amazing interview with Vernon Webb and Sean Arnold from Mind Mastery Accelerator. Thanks for joining us this week. Thanks for tuning into the ANEW Body Insight Podcast. Please remember, the content shared on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. You can find us anywhere podcasts are streaming, on YouTube at my.anew.insight and at anew-insight.com under the ANEW Body Insight Podcast tab. Follow us on our socials at my.anew.insight on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Threads for more updates. Tune in next time and evolve with us.